You hear that? That's the heartbeat of the wild. Out here, it's not about who's the strongest or fastest. It's about who's willing to go further, fight harder, and never back down. In the blistering heat of the savannah, the freezing winds of the tundra, and the dense, shadowy jungles, there's only one rule: survive. And the cost? Everything. Every breath, every step, every second could be your last. This isn't just nature. This is nature, raw and unfiltered, and it's absolutely unforgiving. The lioness crouches low, golden fur flickering between blades of grass. Her eyes are locked on a young buffalo calf, small, slow, a perfect target. Her body is still, but her mind races with calculations, distance, wind, timing, then movement. She explodes into a sprint, muscles surging with power. The calf squeals, hooves skittering. The chase begins, but the plains are never quiet for long. A warning bellow splits the air. The herd reacts. Heads turn, eyes widen. The earth begins to shake, not from the lion's charge, but from the wall of fury that's coming. Buffalo, dozens of them, charging, not away from her. The tables flip. The hunter becomes the hunted. A massive bull lowers its horns. A force of nature on four legs. The lioness tries to pivot, but she's too close. With terrifying momentum, the bull slams into her side, lifting her clean off the ground. She crashes into the dust, dazed. The message is clear. You mess with all. You mess with all. That day, the savannah doesn't belong to the queen of the hunt, alive. And when the dust settles, sometimes fearless and ready to fight back, the calf stands. It belongs to the herd unified.
A desperate
because the
gamble.
wild may be cruel,
She
but it
lunges
doesn't
for the
mean
leg,
justice
but the
doesn't
dry
exist.
rip-
Nature lets the hunted rise. But the story doesn't end there. Now, the lioness is no longer the attacker. She's the shield. Her cubs tumble through the grass, playful and innocent, but danger never plays. From the distance, a lone bull buffalo breaks from the herd. He's angry, maybe vengeful, or maybe he just senses a weakness, an opportunity to strike back. He lowers his head and charges. The cubs freeze, too young to understand, but their mother, she understands everything, and she doesn't hesitate. With a roar that splits the sky, she throws herself in front of them. Horns meet flesh. The impact is brutal. She's lifted off her feet, thrown like a rag doll. But she gets up, blood in her mouth, rage in her eyes. She fights back, not for herself. For her cubs, claws rip through the air. Teeth snap like bone-crushing traps. The buffalo doesn't back down, but neither does she. It's tooth against horn, fury against fury. In the end, she doesn't kill the buffalo. She doesn't need to. She wins by standing tall, by surviving. And as the buffalo retreats and her cubs rush to her side, the message echoes through the wild. Don't underestimate a mother with something to protect.
As the sun sets on these young cubs, their journey across the savannah is just beginning.
Nearby, camels face a different threat. A pack surrounds them, eyes glinting with hunger. But camels don't flee. They form a wall massive, stomping, unbreakable. They kick, they spit, they roar. Yes, camels can roar. The wolves hesitate, then retreat. Out here, survival isn't always about speed. It's about knowing when to fight and when to stand your ground. But this war for survival isn't just about lions and buffalo. In the distant deserts, survival takes on a new shape and a new kind of desperation. A pack of wolves move like ghosts, silent, calculated, deadly. They don't chase for fun, they chase to feed. Their target, a wild donkey. He runs, sand kicks up behind him, his lungs burn, his hooves hammer the cracked ground like thunder. But the wolves don't tire. They flank, they corner, they cut off every escape. And then just when the end seems certain, he veers hard into a thicket of rocks. The wolves slip, just for a second, but that's all he needs. He pushes harder. He lives. And then, from the heavyweights of the desert to the underdogs of the wild, we meet the little ones with the biggest guts. The honey badger. He's not big. He's not fast. But he's built like a tank and wired like a lunatic. When a lioness strays too close to his den, he doesn't back down. He steps out, looks her dead in the eyes. She snarls. He snarls back. Then he charges. He darts. Bites. Spins like a tornado of claws and teeth. The lioness swings her massive paw, he ducks. She lunges, he climbs on her back. And when he finally backs off, it's not because he's scared. It's because she is. The queen of the hunt walks away. But the badger's story doesn't end there. He heads into the forest, hungry from the fight. When a new threat slithers out of the grass, a cobra, venomous and coiled to kill. It strikes fast, too fast for most. But not for him. The badger dodges, strikes, retreats. He's hit. The venom kicks in. He falls. And then he wakes up, shaking off the poison like a bad dream. The badger launches back into the fight. The cobra doesn't stand a chance. A few minutes later, the forest grows quiet again, and the cobra becomes lunch. Not far away, another fearless warrior takes the stage. A mongoose faces off against another cobra. This one's bigger, meaner, and lightning fast. But the mongoose, he's sharper. They dance back and forth, death in every move. One slip, and it's over. But the mongoose doesn't slip. With perfect timing, he lunges, sinks his teeth into the cobra's neck, and it's done. Small doesn't mean weak. Not here. Out here, courage has no size limit. Now, from the tiniest gladiators to the final titans, in the shadowed valleys of the highlands, two giants meet. A tiger, silent, deadly, the master of stealth. A bear, massive, unstoppable, the king of brute force. They don't waste time with warnings. The tiger strikes first, swift, precise. Claws rake fur. The bear rears up, roaring thunder into the sky. He slams down like a falling tree. Fur flies, blood sprays, neither gives ground. This isn't about territory. This isn't about pride. This is about survival. And when they finally break apart, battered, bloodied, still breathing, it's not about who won. It's about who stood tall. From the blistering savannah to the cold mountains, one truth echoes louder than any roar. To live here, you must fight, sometimes with claws, sometimes with cunning, always with heart. There's no room for weakness, no pity for hesitation. The wild isn't fair, but it is honest. And for every creature that survives another day, the wild whispers, "You earned it."